The Po' Boy Pundits podcast is brought to you by The Goddamn Sauce. Go to thegdsauce.com for details to order all the sauces to replace your ordinary condiments. Pulpery Media presents Po' Boy Pundits with your hosts, Brock and Ben. This is where we discuss the political headlines that grab our attention and all those little jerks that infuriate us. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. You know...
But then that might mean we get him in a trade.
He can fucking come here. I'll drive and get him.
Yeah.
So,
things have escalated quickly in Syria. It's like 72 hours.
Whoa. They had been planning that for a minute.
It looks like it. Because, there was the Russian ceasefire back in, was it 2020 or 2022? 2022 something.
It was after COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently...
Right before he decided to attack Ukraine.
Yeah. But apparently the rebels were like, oh, yeah, we'll stop so that we can start recruiting and building.
So we're just... Whoa, would you look at the time? Yeah, it happened quick.
Well,
they were able to do it in a day. You look at it now and you start hearing the analysis, and that even some of these dudes are doing interviews now, talking about the planning of it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the rebels.
Yep.
Which, I mean, it's three different factions merged together.
With, the army commander?
Now, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Okay.
So, but apparently, with everything going on in Israel and Russia and
Iran and Ukraine.
Yeah. So, because it was they knew Assad's a puppet of all those. So it was now...
Tulsi Gabbard, is that her name?
Yeah.
Oh, man, she loves three ways with those guys.
Yeah, they're all her friends.
And she's about to be, I don't know.
Yeah, she almost lost one of them. That's a shame.
Yeah, I bet she's...
But
I bet she's booked a flight now.
But they waited till Iran was engulfed enough in Israel, and that Russia was on its back foot, in Ukraine mobilizing everything to there, where they're like, oh, nobody's watching Assad. Well, okay, we'll just go. I mean, and it was
that's what I'm saying.
Fast. Yeah.
They rushed Damascus.
Yeah.
That's right. That's the city.
Yeah, that's the capital. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is where all they were, right?
Yeah, but it was. I think once they got Aleppo, that's when world news was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, because it again quick.
Because they were taking Damascus when
that's when
BBC was sending in their Middle Eastern reporter, and they're like, "Oh, we're just crossing the border now, but you can see the firefights as we get to the capital."
Wow.
Gee, no one really saw this happen.
That's what exactly.
And my favorite though is NATO and the United States going oh no,
exactly. And then Biden came out and was like, well, we're just going to make sure that, the look at school.
Yeah, which is the right thing to say, but that it's really, it's going to be interesting to see how NATO and the U.S. handle this.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, I guess the guy that they have appointed is they've
already declared elections, right? That's what they're headed towards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I mean, let's if you see any footage, see them liberating the prisons. And,
I was just reading about that.
And the people coming out of that.
They were saying they're still searching for,
or
just not searching, but just looking, going through the prison.
Yeah,
that was a modern day concentration camp.
Correct.
He put journalists and anybody who wants to. Are we listening to this, America?
Yeah.
He just rounded them up and threw them in there.
Yeah, and then, those that were still living in them
were able to walk out. Yeah, I saw all that footage.
Which is, it's that's going to be the other thing is that, it's I wouldn't want to be on that task force of, that's what's fascinating to me though too is that, as that report was saying, is yes, anytime this happens, the worry is you have a power vacuum,
right? But it does seem like
I mean, it's been 50 years.
Yeah.
They haven't been in flux and fighting. No, it has been 50 years.
Yeah.
Of this family.
Yeah, just dominating.
Yeah,
and they were
over this country.
And they were part of the minority ruling party.
Right.
So
and they had backing from Russia
and Iran and
yep.
So and then but it doesn't I think the way that the news is reporting about the rebels is it just kind of seems like, they just decided one day, hey, we've had enough and we're moving. But every time I've seen one of their top guys interviewed, like they're very, I don't want to say well spoken, but like it's not like this is haphazard. Like they have a clear vision, at least right now in terms of the liberation of Syria.
That's exactly.
They really haven't talked about like are they going to make it a Islamic State or something along those lines, but.
Oh, that could get dirty.
But then again, it's
right?
Yeah, but they're not like, as you saw with the prisons, it wasn't like, well, let's just free the men and leave the women in there.
No, they let everybody out.
And
that would have been terrible.
Well, I mean, but
Jesus Christ.
I don't think it doesn't seem like they're that branch. So to say, and
these were basically just leaders of 3 different factions, groups, political parties, whatever you want to fucking call them.
Yeah, but the
rebels.
The main
alliance.
one, the biggest one of the 3 or 4, started as like an Al Qaeda cell in Syria, and then when that went down, post 9/11, then they morphed into ISIS, but then they left ISIS because they were like, that's fucking crazy as shit, and then have like begin morphing. But that's the way a lot of this stuff kind of works. Sometimes is that like
now we've got former ISIS taking over.
Well, yeah, or you could look at it as they were radicals back when they were young. And then over, the last 20 years, they've realized, like, well, that doesn't get shit done. But maybe if we...
The whole fear...
Yeah.
Wait, shock and awe, Dr. Jones.
Right, yeah. Is so... And that leads me back to where, like, I think it's going to be... Because the United States has already declared that group as a terrorist organization.
Right. Okay, so I did read that right. I was like, wait a minute. How are they a terrorist organization? And everybody's going... Good on you.
But is that if we lend them aid, financial aid, let's just say that, or food and like help them rebuild whatever's been destroyed.
Basically said was we'll help with the transfer.
Yeah,
we'll do what we can.
To make sure that they and the people of Syria get what they want. Then that's a key ally in a very
volatile
area.
And that's why I was trying to look at where they are, and they are smack dab in the middle of everything.
Right, they're
are they on the water?
I think just north, or they're on like Lebanon, the Dead Sea, right? Or
Lebanon,
something. Yeah,
is
So it's like Lebanon and then Syria, right?
Yeah, that's what it looks. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. There's like a little sliver, and then it opens up.
Yeah. So
being on the Black Sea has its advantages too. Like, I get it.
Well,
that's why Beirut is such a fucking.
And if we can get Israel to calm down, but you got Israel
now
and Syria, and
now they're like just starting to go. Nobody here. We'll just take this. This is
right,
ours here. And we'll just take this over here.
Which, as long as it's not vital to the new government, like
desert or whatever, like whatever.
Yeah, I think they claimed it as like military assets, so it's
just
not
like open ground, like just
open
ground.
But now, I mean, if NATO and the United States plays it right, you could have an allied column.
Yeah, right there on the water.
Right.
Yeah.
Which would then
you're in charge of trading
really
in and
help
out of that
keep
area.
Yeah. Keep Iran in check. You could put more pressure on what was the peninsula that the Putin originally got?
Cyprus is in the middle. They just kind of.
There's a whole fucking war over it. I should remember
the peninsula,
that.
Where at?
Crimea, excuse me.
Oh yeah, there you go. All right, yeah, there you go.
So I mean, there are huge implications to this. It's just like NATO and the United States have to understand is that sometimes you got to play.
I didn't realize how big Syria was.
Yeah, sometimes you got to play with people that aren't necessarily in complete and total agreement with you. But
we could just do what we did to Haiti.
Or we don't want to have happen what we did originally to Iran, which is like, oh, have free and fair elections. Now we're going to kill that dude and put the king back in power.
There we go. Oh, and here's your weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
So, which I mean, this as odd as it seems,
they were an enemy.
Right? Yeah.
Like they were just a NATO and United States. I hate that we can't just call it NATO, but we are now a separate thing. Yeah, they were an enemy, so we have to have some interest.
Well, the problem,
in making sure this works.
The problem with Assad was everybody knew what he was doing to his people, but he played politics really well. So
you see, that's what I don't understand. How you get away with that for 50 fucking years?
Chess. You're playing chess. And it's,
and then just didn't see this coming.
Well,
got checkmate out of nowhere.
Yeah, because in this case would be, where did I hear it today? It was in Dune. It was that, once the people are in power, they're only concerned about keeping that power.
Silo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, any dystopian kind of thing.
Yeah.
But in this case, was like, is that the Assad family was bolstered by their relationships with other countries. So with what's going on in that region right now, they're more concerned with dealing with heads of state. And of course, this is the downfall of the current Assad, which is he was completely ignoring his people.
Well, of course, he didn't give a shit.
Yeah, and if
you got out of line,
this is the same guy.
Just threw you in fucking prison.
Well, this was the same guy who dropped poisonous gas
correct
on his people during a civil war.
Yes,
didn't care. Civilian casualties just everywhere.
Again, Tulsi Gabbard doesn't think that happened.
Oh yeah, even though Assad has said that it happened.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
Was proud of it.
No, didn't happen.
So
false flag.
So I mean, this is
exactly. He was proud of it. He was showing pictures.
I think
it was his Instagram story.
I think it's also interesting to see how the news channels are covering this, and that they're not like freaking out like they did during the Arab Spring.
No. Right now, it's
which
just
unfortunately eventually just reverted right back to the way things were.
Right,
like it was fun.
Now they're going at it as they're almost telling the people what has really been going on for 50 years, because the average Joe is just like,
correct, yeah.
Okay, Assad.
Yeah, who is this yokel? Like, what the fuck?
So they're trying to explain that for as long as most people have been alive, these people have been running.
Right. And that's why our allies were sitting there going like, oh, it's such a shame this is happening in Syria.
Right.
I wonder if they'll get rid of Assad.
It's like the CEO thing, right?
Yeah.
There are more CEOs over here.
Oh no. Anyway.
Right.
Now. But yeah, I mean, like this is.
No! I wish they would have killed him. Drug him through the streets.
Yeah, like they did Gaddafi. Yeah.
Exactly.
But our Mussolini.
I hate when you do that every time. He was a terrible person. But
yeah, he was.
Well, you got 30 seconds to make fun of Mussolini now.
No. I was gonna say it's just the Biden administration has this last little nugget to do a final foreign policy initiative before they're gone. So
I was gonna ask,
do it right. Like even if we don't agree with them 100%, like. The following segment has been brought to you by The Goddamn Sauce. Go to thegdsauce.com for details to order all the sauces to replace your ordinary condiments. The Po' Boy Podcast is a production of Pulpery Media, produced and edited by Ben Grimion, marketing by Brock Ryder, graphic design by Beck Ryder and Ben Grimion, music by the Heisenberg Compensators.